about replacing these RCA / clinch plugs, which I was using with these adapters, which are dodgy as heck, with a much more appropriate TS plug for my mixer board. And I mention this because, while this part here connects fine to my mixer board, it's these cheap Chinesium plugs on this end that doesn't always make good connection with plug inserts. You can see that there's, maybe you can't see it, but there's a little gripper inside. And this is fine for like some things. But you know what? I've never been a person to just say for some things. And so we're going to take those off and we're going to replace these wires. Okay, so let me just turn this around so I can see it better. You can still see it, I hope. And okay, you can see the wire here. You can see this like a Chinesium thin wire. This is a problem with these kind of connectors. Is this wire is very thin, and so when you're working with these kind of plugs, it is very easy to visualize how they can get damaged. So what we're going to do is we're just going to replace these both. Connect one. You can see that this one here has this one is a standard color schema. Red with a braid. Okay. And that's standard. But this one has got green and white. So that's why I brought my continuity tester out here, because I need to find out what is color scheme here. Okay, so I'm gonna strip this. You don't have to go crazy stripping this wire, but you do gotta get it. Okay. Yes, ideally you want to get it to hook over the hole. Okay. Okay, so. They look like they're slightly different lengths. Yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, same thing, I'm going to do this on the side here. I'm going to buzz it with my continuity tester on my DVM and make sure that I know which is the braid and which is the shield. Okay, that's going to be important. You're going to have to... okay, so now, so I'm going to get my tester out. I'll just try to show you the tester here. Okay. Let's plug in this tester here. I already have my pokers all nice and hot to do the soldering. So I just gotta make sure I get the polarities right. That's gonna make a difference because of the nature of the circuit. So I also want to make sure to detangle this wire as best I can. So connecting to the continuity test and the common, and now on the other end of the wire you have your standard plug. Okay, so common CME indicates that I really have to find out the one wire of which is the braid. Okay, yep, that's braid. That's braid. Okay, now let's do the red tip. Okay, let's do the white sleeve. Okay, good. So now we have it determined or ascertained which one goes where. Okay. So let's talk about the plugs themselves. Now I have ones that have springs. This one does not have springs. This is a 3-part plug. You got your center post here. You have your wire here. That's where your braid's gonna go to. Now, I wonder if I might need to give myself some more insulation because of the and then you put the plug on the braid sleeve on top. So I'm going to do that. Let me give myself some more, because that might be a little short. Okay, so I'm trying to do this while videoing it while my battery's running low on my phone. So let's see. Alright, so we'll just, I'm going to strip back a little more insulation just to make sure I have enough length to work with. And also, I'm going to strip back a little bit on the wires here because these are a little bit on the short side. So let me flip this on so you can see what I'm doing here as best I can. Okay? So now, is this copper or is this copper clad? That's a good question because I don't know. This could be copper clad. Okay. How do you know? Well, if you feel it springs back at you. If it does, it's copper clad. It's not. It's springing back to me, so this means it's more than likely it's probably real copper. So that's what we're going to start with. Now, I've got to tin this because I want to make sure that you get good solid connection because the tinning is going to help a million times in the right direction. You can see now that's the wire's ready to go. So I'm going to take, like Big Clive likes to remind people, lead-based solder is better than this lead-free stuff that they make now, which is terrible. Okay, this is my bigger iron. This, I didn't have to use this big monster. I just chose it because it heats fast and okay. Same thing with the white one here. I'm going to do the same thing with the red one. And the braid. Oh, this is definitely not copper clad, I can tell you right now. This is better quality. Okay. So now I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to take this sleeve. The sleeve's going to go over next. Okay. Don't lose the sleeve. This is, well, if you do, you can use heat-shrink tubing if you have to. But it's best not to lose it, okay? Alright, now, I'm going to take the white, or you can take the other wire. It doesn't matter. This is another reason I twist this iron. This is a pretty beefy connection to solder. Okay. So I'm going to take some solder here. Unfortunately, I am soldering I am right-handed, and unfortunately, getting this thing to work with right hands is like trying to pretend you're Edward Scissorhands. Okay, so I'm gonna, in this case, the green is gonna go through the hole here. And I think it needs to be 10 more. Okay. The only thing is with some of these irons, and this is not one of those irons, you can get irons that are temperature controlled. This is old school iron. This doesn't have temperature or anything. Basically, it just uses heat. And the iron base itself to it also gets very hot. Wowee. Yeah. Okay. And then need more solder than that. Sometimes this is where it's nice if you have one of those, like one magic hand helper thingies, because you can get over there. I don't have one of those. But I do have a pair of pliers, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick them in here, because I didn't bring all my tools in here. I just brought them just enough to get this job done. Okay, so let me get this wire in. So, like I said before, you have the sleeve, and you don't want to lose that, okay? I mean, you could lose it, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't help if you do, okay? So, try not to lose it, right? So you're going to take this wire, and you're going to thread it through the hole. And it's the same on the other side here. Now, they make, those of you who need smaller plugs, they do make a 3.5mm version of this plug. And like you can guess, there's there's 3 versions of the 3.5mm. Well, they come up with a version that has I don't know. Okay. So that one's done, at least on this side. It's still smoking hot though. Wowee. Alright, now, I didn't do, actually, you can do this if you want, is you can crimp these ends, which is not a bad idea. But the thing that I would like to do with these is, remember, you don't want to go too crazy, criminally super tight, because it can break the wire too. So you want to have the wire yep, you guessed it. Okay, so that's on. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other end. Now there's a whole bunch of ways to do this, and as long as you got space, it doesn't really matter which way you do it. But I like to do it like this, because it seems so I can use the insulation itself to help me with the plug. Okay, so there's the plug, and now I'm going to do the same thing. Just put back in my pliers so I can hold it steady. And let's see. Okay. So that's it. That connector is done. Okay, we will test it in a minute. Now, what I do wonder about Same thing, I'll do it on the same side. Same plug. Okay? So I'm going to take this and it just unscrews like this. And I'm going to do the same thing. You can see it also has a green wire. I did not realize that. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. As long as the wire colors you use, in this case, this plug is not shielded. I did not know that. Oh, interesting. Okay. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this wire. I can do the same thing with the soldering too. Okay. So is this tinsel? No. Thank God. I hate tinsel. Okay, now let's do is same thing I did before. Okay. I'm going to take the red wire. And I could do the same thing. I could do in advance. I could put all these connectors, wires right in the holes. I don't have to wait. I'm doing two types of steps. I just have to make sure when they do that, make sure that they don't short together. That's key. Okay. Now, why do we still use plugs like this today? Well, the reason we still use plugs like this in mixers is because musicians, well, they use these on their microphones and their guitars and their things like that. So instead of requiring a whole new system for plugs and whatever, it was easier just to okay. So what let's do is just put that up there so you can see it. There's a hole. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Okay. Same thing on the side. These are my vice grips, but the vice grips are kind of preoccupied right now fixing something else, which is the bed, and because the bed clamp is missing, so. Okay, so this is the plugs. So you can see this. Okay, this is the plug. Focus, you fuck. Come on. Alright, well, guess not. Anyway, so this is the connector here. You can see that the wires are attached. Now, so at this point, it should be ready to go to work. So, I'm going to just buzz it with the meter again. Make sure the polarities are right. Okay. So this is the two ends that go to the mixer board. And this is the end that goes into the computer. So let's start by measuring the braid. Let's get to the earthing first. Good, good. Okay. Now, one of these. Let's get one. Okay, this one. Okay, any shorts between here and there? No. Any shorts between here and here? No. Okay, so it should be all set to go. Yeah. As you can see, these are a much better connectors. Now the only thing is, you might say which is the right, which is the left, since they're not labeled. Well, you can check that easy enough by just gently unscrewing the sleeve. This is the right, okay? Which you can label them too. Put some rights and left labels on these plugs. Okay? So, because the problem with these connectors using this is point of failure 1, point of failure 2, and they are terrible plugs. They just come off, they don't stay connected at all. They're just terrible. So, thus the replacement of them. Also, the wire is like thin as it is, makes it kind of lowers your connection too. So, that's it. That should be all I need to do to get this cable fixed. You can see the adapter sitting in there. I labeled the plugs in the end with labels for left and right, so I know which plug's which. And I said the old adapters, we can use them for other things. And yeah, sorry about the cat hair. That's why I'm going him a cat, he sheds. Anyway, that's the plugs. They're done. They're done. And they work. So everything's good now. So it's all sorted. So I thought I would show it to you. Alright? Catch you later. Bye-bye.